Hi, I'm going to share with you the intervention approach that I selected. The intervention approach is titled Naturalistic Intervention for Speech Intelligibility. During this presentation, I will share the founder involved, the purpose, targeted population, physiology of approach or the theories involved, and the method and procedures. The founder of this intervention approach is Stefan Karmada. The purpose or goal for this intervention approach is to focus on initially increasing the child's overall intelligibility rather than improving the individual phoneme productions by targeting speech production and morphology as the clinician, teacher, or parent recasts what the child is saying. I'm going to define a few terms for you that will better help your understanding as this presentation continues. Intelligibility is known as how well a speaker is understood by a listener. Recasting is a type of modeling that is used when an utterance that a child said is repeated by an adult with the errors now being corrected. This helps the child hear and understand the correct production of the utterance that was spoken. Various studies that I found have reported the advantages of applying this naturalistic conversation and training these populations in different settings and also to target these behaviors. The targeted population, as mentioned on my poster, are individuals with severe speech sound disorders. I have broken this down into a primary and secondary tiers of populations that are involved. The primary tier are toddlers and or preschoolers that have this speech sound disorders. The secondary tier are children with Down syndrome or children diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. The physiology or the theories of this approach include three of them: distinctive feature theory, prosodic theory, and generative theory. Distinctive feature theory are speech patterns that are broken into categories. These can include the errors of the speech patterns that are being used. So, for example, during this conversational or spontaneous speech sample, the child may say walk instead of rock. The clinician could say, "You do have a rock." This distinctively brings awareness to the two sounds while recasting the correct production within the context that it was said. Second, we have prosodic theory. This is whole words rather than phonemes that are considered in the basic unit. So children use these structural patterns to guide their own production. So this intervention approach encourages these conversational-based activities that is based on whole language, where there aren't specific characteristics of speech sounds that are being targeted. So using this theory in conjunction with these interventions' purpose, proper co-articulation, pitch, stress, and rate can be used in conjunction to increase the probability of the child's mental lexicon and how they can learn this new information. The final theory is generative. Generative phonology is to show a sound change that a child makes. So it could be the surface representation versus the underlying representations. Also, the production of phonological knowledge. So this can include all of that mental knowledge that is stored for each phoneme. So as this child begins to learn these whole words, their mental lexicon continues to grow as they have this recast model for them by this responder. The secondary targeted population was mentioned in articles that was read that could be used as this approach, specifically children with autism spectrum disorder. Methods and procedures. A spontaneous speech sample is the primary method for this intervention approach. Some research articles mentioned using the GFTA, the Goldman-Fristow test of articulation, as I have written up on my poster, top left corner. They used this in conjunction with the speech sample that assessed the specific speech sound articulation errors that would then be targeted in the sessions. However, it is important to note that this specific assessment, the GFTA, doesn't have to be used in conjunction with this approach. Some have found it helpful. However, it may depend on the specific needs of the client. The setting and format when collecting the speech sample should include a play format and a natural setting. So this could be the home, the classroom, or even the clinic. Anything where the child feels able to lead the session. Another component of the speech sample is recasting, as mentioned prior. It is important that the clinician or parent or teacher can give an accurate model of the utterance that is being spoken by the child and to engage in this conversational speech with the child. Since this is a naturalistic intervention approach, it is different than others where it is recommended it be held in the child's functional environment. There are no specific materials or equipment that's needed. The material that should be selected for collecting the speech sample should be of interest to the child. This could include anything that could support the child's functional skills and facilitate spontaneous speech. Finally, as the clinician begins to recast and model for the child, the parents, teachers can be trained to do the same thing. How to elicit a spontaneous speech sample, how to proper recast, or even educate about the typical phonological substitutions that are being made by children. This could increase the generalization for this child and therefore have them produce more intelligible speech in various settings quicker. So overall, this naturalistic speech intelligibility, the goals for these clients should be increasing their functional intelligibility, which is encouraged to be done with these communication attempts, such as recasting at the word level by the appropriate responder, clinician, parent, and or teacher, which will better prepare them for academic success in their future. Thank you.